Hey everybody, it's Ace here.
And Sidekick.
And this is another podcast.
Today we're talking about Iron Man the game.
I thought I had it, but apparently I don't. That's a really bad game.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Don't mind me, I'm just cracking a cold one with the boys.
Me too, but you couldn't hear it.
I mean, cracking a cold one with the boy. Sidekick.
Who?
You.
Oh, me. Right.
So,
what we're actually talking about today
is the third remake of Spider-Man. Spider-Man... Stop it. Spider-Man Homecoming. Wait, why is it remaking Spider-Man 1? This one's technically not the first one in a franchise.
Well, I mean...
I hate to tell you guys, but every new addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is technically a sequel to the last movie.
Yeah, well, okay, but they've done Green Goblin how many times already, so...
Once.
Twice. They had the Green Goblin, and then they had the Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
See how unmemorable The Amazing Spider-Man was?
Yes.
Can we talk about that before we do Homecoming?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the Sam Raimi trilogy? Spider-Man 1, 2, and
3. I mean... they're not the worst thing that's ever come out of Marvel.
Okay. If I were to have to put them in order from worst to best, it would be Spider-Man 3, 1, and 2.
I did not like 2. See, I find that a lot. That with movies that go into it that are in a trilogy, I don't like the second one. It's the same thing with Lord of the Rings, with both Star Wars trilogies. The second one is always my least favorite.
I don't get why, because it has the best Doc Ock I've ever seen on film. I mean, the only one, but still like the best interpretation of Doc Ock. That's mainly... Plus, the story, while cheesy as shit, is better than Spider-Man 3 in spades.
See, I just felt like the only memorable character from that movie was Doc Ock. I felt like everyone else was either much more memorable in other movies or just not memorable at all.
Okay. The Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I like Spider-Man a lot more in them. I felt like why am I blanking on the name?
Andrew Garfield,
thank you. I feel like Andrew Garfield portrayed Spider-Man much better. Just as the smartass or whatever that Spider-Man's supposed to be, and then portraying that he is still kind of a nerd outside of being Spider-Man.
Well, this is a lot of issues that I have with this one. Okay, so the first one, Tobey Maguire plays a great Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But his Spider-Man could be better.
Right.
And Andrew Garfield plays Spider-Man incredibly well, but his Peter Parker is not.
See, I kind of feel the same way, except I felt like... whereas I felt like Tobey Maguire played a great Peter Parker again, but not a great Spider-Man. I felt like Andrew Garfield, while playing a great Spider-Man, and not a great Peter Parker, I feel like his Peter Parker... Okay, stick with me here. I feel like his bad Peter Parker was better than Tobey Maguire's bad Spider-Man, if that makes sense.
He's a better Spider-Man.
He's a better Spider-Man, and I feel like his...
And then Tobey Maguire is a better Peter.
Yeah, but
basically, what I said a moment ago.
Well, except for the fact that I feel that out of the two who did not portray the other half well, I feel like Andrew Garfield did better at portraying Peter.
The Amazing Spider-Man movies, I thought the first one was okay.
I did like it.
The second one... They did pretty good, I think, in the first half, if you ask me, and then it just kind of went to shit when Electro showed up. No, not when Electro showed up, when they introduced the Green Goblin portion.
Right.
the Rhino, and
here's the problem with it is that, and they did this in the trilogy, in the first trilogy too. In the first trilogy, what did they do in the third movie? They had Venom, Sandman, and like the Hobgoblin, or
the new Goblin.
The new Goblin, yeah. And what they do they're trying to do 3 villains at once. And the second one of the Andrew Garfield, yeah, I can't say his name.
They had Electro, Rhino,
and Green Goblin. It's like having more than one villain is fine if you flesh them all out and stuff. You try pushing too many villains into the same movie without giving them all enough backstory.
No, I'll get to this point, but the problem I have with Spider-Man 3 is mostly Venom. He was shoehorned in. It was actually supposed to be the Vulture instead of Venom. They shoehorned Venom in. They gave it to Topher Grace, I believe is his name. Basically Eric from that 70s show.
I was going to say, if you guys don't know, it's Eric from that 70s show who he plays a great nerd, but not such a great villain.
No, he's not. I think he would play more of a Carnage.
Really? I think he'd be better as Carnage.
He's got that. Yeah, he played it off more like Carnage, like the sexual deviant, the murderous.
Okay.
You know how
now that I'm thinking about it, I guess so. I haven't seen this.
Mm-hmm. I loved the Sandman in that. They didn't portray him as much as I would hope, but I do like his character.
I feel like they gave him more back. I feel like out of the 3, like Harry had a backstory, but then they sort of threw that out the window when they made him lose his memory.
They should have just made him the main villain.
Yeah. So they basically made him lose his memory, which was like, why would you do that? And then they didn't really give Venom a backstory, but they gave the Sandman a great backstory, and I think that's really good, because it's like at least you had one villain who we knew why he was doing this. He knew that it wasn't necessarily a good thing that he was doing it, but he knew why he was doing it. He had a reason. You actually could feel for him.
Basically, Sandman was doing it for his daughter. Harry was doing it for revenge for his dad, and Venom just kind of showed up. He's doing it to get back at Parker, but he just kind of showed up.
He sort of showed up and is using Eddie Brock.
Yeah. The problem that I had with Amazing Spider-Man 2 with its villains, Electro, I thought could have been the best, or he was the best villain in that movie.
Yeah.
They should have just stuck with him. They didn't have to shoehorn the Green Goblin. The problem with that one, they were trying to make Oscorp look like the center for all these villains, and no. And then Rhino just showing up at the very end, just
He didn't do anything with him. He was in the beginning of the movie, he was at the end of the movie, and nothing happened besides that.
Mm-hmm.
Except he almost killed a kid.
Oh.
You're right, yeah.
Okay, now it's for Spider-Man Homecoming. I liked it. I liked it. That's a good movie.
I liked it, and I'm going to say what I've been saying for a while. It was good, but I thought it was just good.
I think it's up there with Spider-Man 2, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
It's up there because compared to what we've gotten in recent years, you dinged.
I dinged?
You dinged.
Was that me?
I think it was you.
Oh, yeah.
It was you.
It was me, don't worry. Keep talking, I'm listening.
Okay, so I liked the direction they took. I liked the fact that Peter is in high school still.
Yes.
And he's dealing with being a kid and growing up and learning all these things while trying to be a superhero.
Right.
And it just works so well. It's basically a coming-of-age story with him trying to impress Iron Man, who's basically Uncle Ben now.
Pretty much.
And I thought all the characters were very good in this movie.
Yeah.
With the side characters, they showed a lot of the side characters, like Zendaya and that one kid
The guy in the chair.
Yeah, the guy in the chair. He does a great job. This movie is so funny too.
It is funny.
It's awkward high school comedy, and it works.
Right. Well, before we get into the characters, let's just sort of talk about the story real quick.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
So it basically opens up, and if you had like the PlayStation 4 actually showed off, like on Sony, they showed off like the captured footage that he did. He was vlogging.
Yeah.
His whole experience there, and I love it when he gets his suit for the first time. He's like, "Wait, I thought that was a closet.
Right.
This is my suit." And then he gets the suit, and it shows him fighting Giant Man, and he's like, "Oh my god, I just stole the Captain America's shield, and they called me Underoos, and oh, he's big, I gotta go."
Yeah.
And then he tries to cover up the fact that he was doing a project with Tony, and leads to showing him in high school with his friend. Do you remember his friend's name?
Guy in the chair.
Let me pull it up.
Seriously, though. The character was probably one of my favorites. Maybe my favorite of the movie. Do not remember his name. But to be fair, I don't remember a lot of the names. Like,
I know the only one I know
is like Peter, Tony, Aunt May.
Okay, Marissa Tomei is May Parker. Zendaya is Michelle. Michael Keaton, of course.
Was
Toombs.
Yeah.
Ned, that's his name.
Ned.
Jacob, is that Batalon? Batalon! James played a really good Ned, and I think he's actually based off the character in the Miles Morales timeline. I think.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of combined a little bit of Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man with their Spectacular whatever. Kind of stringing the universes together here.
I really liked that character. He was mostly there for comic relief, but I feel like he was also the one who sort of was like Peter's sort of like Peter's like conscience when Tony wasn't around, like he was trying to tell him, when they were in Washington D.C., we don't need to handle that. We have this thing that we're here for. Mm-hmm. Handle that some other time. And Peter's like, nah, I'm going to go do this. I feel like he was really good as like this guy who tried to keep Peter in the real world, where Peter just wanted to prove that he could do this. It's like if Tony gave you the suit and brought you in to fight Captain America and that team, he obviously already trusts you, dude. You don't need to prove that. This whole movie is not. This whole movie is just you trying to prove that you're in the big leagues when you already made it to the big leagues.
Kind of.
That's my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah. Basically, you see Tony. See Peter in school, and he's crushing over this girl, Liz, who's played by Laura Harrier.
Yep.
And then there's Tony Rivoli, who plays Manuel, who is Flash.
Flash.
Let's talk about him later. Let's talk about some of these characters later. You see Peter struggling with being a superhero, and it's funny, you see him screw up. That's something you don't really see the big time heroes do, is screw up at the small things.
No, see, that's what I like. I like that they showed that. I felt like they used a certain gimmick too many times, where he falls on his face. I think they used that 5 or 6 times. It's like that's funny, and it's nice to see him screw up. Could you show us him screwing up in other ways than just
smacking into walls? And
yeah, it's like we get it. He's still mastering his powers. So could we see him do something besides the same thing over and over?
Mm-hmm. And
we get it.
We get it. He's a kid. He don't know how to use his suit.
I think I just knocked your thing here.
God, you killed Kirby!
Kirby's fine.
Fucking Kirby! No, that basically throughout the whole movie, the this is like the middle portion, I want to say. They're getting ready for this, what is this called? Like debate team or
I think
academic squad?
Remember how we had an academic team in school?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like that, only on high school and nationals level.
Okay, so Suicide Squad. They're getting ready to go to Washington to compete in these finals, like, things. Yeah. Basically, like, everybody's studying, excuse me, to debate or to answer questions. Just be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Fucking nerds.
I was on the academic team. I wasn't very good, though.
I wasn't, because I didn't give a shit. And this is really where we see Peter use his suit. Like, before that, he was actually learning how to. By the way, Peter's got an AI now, who, fun fact, is actually the wife of Vision.
Oh, okay.
And, see if she's up here. Shoot.
She would just be a voice actor, so...
No, she's an actual actor.
For this movie, she would just be using her voice.
It's Paul Bettany's wife. Let me look that up.
Just type in Paul Bettany's wife.
Jennifer Connelly.
Okay.
How the heck did I not know Jennifer Connelly?
I didn't know it either.
She was in, oh, that's why, because I don't remember any of the games she was in.
Oh.
But Requiem of a Dream, I know that one.
Oh, I remember that movie.
The Labyrinth!
I
think she was the girl in The Labyrinth.
That's an older movie, like the one with the puppets and David Bowie as the bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically Tony gave him an AI and it was like, oh, you have all these combination of webs. What do you want to use them for? I love that. Okay, that's one of the reasons he fell flat on his face, because didn't he have combat ready?
Yeah.
Mode? He had combat mode ready, and the default is his web balls.
Yeah.
And he was just like, what are those? Why can't I just... It's like,
well,
that's the default webbing. Do you want to change it? No, not right now. I just need to get up here. Okay. And I love how they address that he's used different webs in the past. So now he's got a taser web. He's got the web balls. He's got the grenade webs.
I think it was really cool how they planned to, or how Peter planned to, get rid of, the training thing, the babysitting thing or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah, he basically hacked or pulled the chip out of the babysitting program.
Thinking that, he didn't need it, and then it turns out that once you take that out, there's actually a whole new world of stuff that you're opened up to, and you need to learn that before you go into combat. But he thought that, he was ready, he didn't need anything, but it turns out that, Tony's a smart guy. Surprise, surprise. Mm-hmm. So he actually put all this extra stuff to help Peter in certain situations that Peter needed to learn before he went off and did this.
And it especially showed when he was fighting the bad guys, and then when he had to save Liz and Ned and a couple other people from the elevator that was in the monument.
Oh, yeah.
One problem I do have...
How did I forget about that?
The one problem I have with that is, you know how he's, climbing up there?
Yeah.
Can't he, jump 20 feet off of a wall?
Yeah, for real, though.
And then he's got the web zips, and I know it's video games, but in video games, when he does a web zip in certain one of them, he can run up the wall for a little bit. And then... I mean, maybe that may have looked him too stupid, but he can jump pretty far.
Yeah, I would think he'd be able to just, jump up there.
No, not all the way.
Oh, no, not all the way, but he can get some pretty good jump distance. I mean, let's imagine 20 feet. The room we're sitting in is probably about not even 10. So imagine more than double the height of this room is what he can jump.
I would think. I like that scene. I especially loved when the AI was kicking in.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got to see, all the things that his suit could do. He has a little drone. His spider emblem is a drone.
I thought that was so cool. I didn't get it at first, and then I was like, oh! That makes sense! That's neat! And that's something no other Spider-Man has ever had. That, or at least...
To my knowledge.
Yeah. At least none from like the movies or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting to see how he used that to do different things. Because he actually used it, like really, really smartly.
Mm-hmm. And
Is
then,
smartly a word?
No.
I don't know.
And then he gets up there and he's trying to break... That's another thing. Like, he can pick up, or he can hold, like, a decent amount of weight.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, I think they nerfed him. They made him a little weaker. But, like, he's trying to punch or kick through bulletproof glass, and it's like, I would think that...
Yeah, okay. Let's back up to Civil War, where Spider-Man first appeared for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When Cap drops that thing on him, he can hold up, what was it, like a whole, like, back of a truck or, like, a train car or something, whatever it was?
It was basically, like, I think it was one of those passenger gates.
Yeah.
I think.
Point is, that thing's really damn heavy.
Uh-huh.
And true, he was struggling to hold it, but he was holding it.
Uh-huh.
And you're telling me he can't break through a single pane of windowproof glass?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. But he breaks through, he saves his love interest, and then I love that.
And his best friend.
I loved how they emulated. Wasn't he hanging upside down? Or he was holding the elevator.
Yeah, he was holding the elevator.
Point being, he was holding the elevator. He was kind of sideways, and then the AI's like, "Do it, Peter. Kiss her."
Yes, yes.
I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing."
Oh my god! You know, I forgot about the AI, but as soon as you brought her back, I remembered that this movie got much better.
Mm-hmm.
Because the AI, I mean, it's an AI, but because of that, it doesn't understand all these human things past what Tony could program it to do. Mm-hmm. So it brings comic relief to Peter actually trying to struggle through high school and stuff.
It also makes sense as to why he's talking to himself, because in the Spider-Man comic books, he talks to himself a lot.
Oh, right.
So now he has a person that he's actually talking to.
You know, it makes sense.
Now, I want to. How about we talk about Vulture?
Okay.
I think he's one of the best Marvel villains we've had in a long time.
I thought that... Okay. I didn't mind Vulture for the most part. I thought he was a good villain for us to introduce us into a solo Spider-Man movie. I thought he was a good villain for that. What I didn't like about Vulture was that I guess we already said spoilers.
Let's talk about that twist a little later. I'm talking about him as a character.
Him as a character?
Mm-hmm. He's terrifying, if you ask me.
He is super scary,
They took a character who, in all honesty, is goofy as shit. He had like a tight green suit with...
I remember from the comics, dude.
He had a tight green suit with like fur on his neck and like razor wings. I mean, yeah, razor wings sounds scary, but they took him and made him look horrifying. Basically, the whole thing...
I don't even know... Well, sorry, go ahead.
Basically, Toomes was in charge... This actually goes back to the first Avengers.
Yeah.
He was in charge of cleaning up all the alien technology and giving it away and blah, blah, blah.
And then, like...
then Tony fucked him.
Yeah.
It all comes back to Tony. I swear to God, Tony is the biggest Marvel villain we ever...
Well, Tony's just being Tony, and he doesn't... And the thing about Tony is that we see him do all this amazing stuff, and he's an amazing superhero with Iron Man. He's got all these different suits. What this movie shows is how much Tony actually thinks, or at least in the past thought, about the little guy.
Yeah. Especially, like, it goes back to his first movie.
Yeah.
Basically, everything he does right, there's always something that he screws up.
Right.
Whether it be big or small.
Yep.
And it causes Toomes to be like, you know what? Let's just keep this shit. Let's sell this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's make technology. Let's make weapons, and let's sell it.
But
so
then,
he designs his Vulture suit, and he goes out and he steals some stuff.
Yep. And
Plus, there's the Tinkerer and Shocker.
Yes.
So this movie did do 3 villains. Technically, there's 4 of them.
Technically.
But this movie did 3
Captain
villains
America's
right.
a villain at this point in the timeline.
No. This movie did 3 villains right. I think more focusing on Vulture than Shocker and Tinkerer. Tinkerer is just kind of there. He makes the weapons. Shocker is actually 2 different dudes. One guy
he
gets vaporized.
Vaporized. Oh.
And he was like, I thought this was
yes,
an
I was going to
anti-gravity
say.
gun.
I was going to say, let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah,
You see this gun, and when he vaporizes him, you think, oh, damn, this is a guy who actually gives no fucks.
Mm.
And then when he says, I thought this was the anti-gravity gun, you realize that this guy, yes, it was funny. It was meant to be funny. But it also proved that this guy isn't a super genius. He doesn't know about all this stuff. He was just, angry and trying to teach this guy a lesson, not kill him.
Well, the big issue that I have with Vulture is that he's not willing to... he's willing to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
But he unintentionally killed one of his own men. Which I laughed I laughed at that part. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just like... Thinking about it more, I'm just like, are you... Really? I get it, but really...
there comes a point where a sane person takes a step back to look at it, and looking at that would go, "Huh, I really fucked some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should, reel it back in." This guy doesn't do that. He just turns to another lackey and goes, "You're the Shocker now."
Uh-huh.
I was like, dude. You just annihilated a guy on accident, and you don't feel anything?
Well, I'm sure he kind of did, to a point, but not... But he was probably just pissed off at the guy, and he just wanted to show a lesson. I'm sure he felt a little bit of remorse. Just a little bit.
Right.
But throughout the whole movie, they don't make mention of it ever again, so...
Right.
But yeah, Shocker's in it. They don't show his costume like they did in the leaked photos. Tinker's just kind of there. I liked Michael Keaton as the Vulture. Which, fun fact, he's Batman.
I know.
Okay. I didn't know. Because a lot of people are just like, wait, he's Batman? Like, yes, he was Batman.
He was Batman back when Jack Nicholson was the Joker.
Yes. Like his first on-screen appearance, or first live-action movie Batman.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, Vulture's awesome. They have Happy in this movie, who's a dick. He is a dick.
Okay.
He's a dick.
Yes, he's a dick. Happy Hogan, guy that the way that I first saw was introduced to him.
Hulk Hogan.
Yes, was through Hulk Hogan. They did a TV show where it showed Iron Man as a teenager. I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
And Happy was in that as another schoolmate, and I thought that since that was the first time I ever saw Happy, that's where I got an idea of what Happy was. And when I saw him in this movie, I was like, yeah.
Well, he's been in other Iron Man movies and other Marvel movies.
I haven't noticed.
Really? Did you not see Iron Man 3?
I didn't see Iron Man 2 or 3. Ouch! Stop hitting me!
What? I just hit my balls. I thought you liked that.
I told you, not on record.
Okay, what else? Peter asks Liz out.
Well, asked her to Homecoming.
Asked her
Hence
out.
the name Spider-Man Homecoming.
No. And then we get the big twist, which, to be honest, was a good twist.
It felt shoehorned in.
Peter gets there, he's all gussied up, and the door opens, and who is it?
It's Vulture.
It's Vulture.
But it's not Vulture as, like, the Vulture there to mess with Spider-Man.
This is the thing. I shit my pants at this moment because I was just like, oh god, he found out where he's going. He knows who he is. Oh shit. And then it turns out Vulture's Liz's dad.
I got that right away as soon as he opened up the door, honestly. I was like, are you kidding me?
No, two things ran to my mind. I was really hoping on that first one. The one where he's like, oh god, he found him out. He knows who he is.
That would have been much better, I think. Mm-hmm. Much better than what happened.
Then he's got Liz and her mom trapped.
Yes.
And then the whole time Peter's just like,
oh yeah,
like he's freaking out. He can't take his eye off of him. And then Michael Keaton or Vulture's just like, this kid ain't right. Something's not right here.
I do like that that the Vulture picked up on that. He's like something's not right with this kid because nobody ever seems to figure out who the superheroes are until they take off their masks. I was glad this guy wasn't a dumbass.
Unless you're Tony and you're like, I am Iron Man.
Right. But the point is that we've had so many superhero movies where you have the villain and the hero sitting in the same place. They actually did this in the first Spider-Man when Green Goblin figured it out. Mm-hmm. It was a simple, I sliced Spider-Man's arm. Peter's got a slice on his arm like that. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. This happened just earlier today. Mm-hmm. What is Peter Spider-Man?
You gotta admit, when they get to Homecoming and Liz steps out of the car and her dad is just like, I want to talk to Peter for a minute. And he pulls out a gun.
Right.
And he's got the gun here and he's so intimidating. And he's saying this to a kid. He's basically saying, I don't want to hurt you, but if you fuck with me, I will kill you and your family. And it's like, oh my god. Michael Keaton, you are amazing.
Like, there's a reason that Michael Keaton played Batman. Mm-hmm. It's because the dude can scare the shit out of you. Uh-huh. And he did it again as Vulture. Mm-hmm.
And I just, that whole time I was sitting there, I was scared.
I was worried. I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? He's figured it out. Mm-hmm. What's Peter going to do? Is Peter going to act... Because we should talk about this real quick. At this point in the movie...
Tony took his suit away.
Yeah, Tony took his suit away and basically told Peter that he's not...
This was after the amazing boat scene.
The boat scene was awesome.
Mm-hmm. It really paid homage to the train scene in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And
what I think the best part was when it was like, congratulations, Peter. You did a 98% accuracy. And it's like that one thing that he missed
screwed him.
And I'm like, yes, that's perfect. This shows that Peter is actually like to everyone who thought that Iron Man was just being an asshole. Like, I was even in that boat for a little bit, but once I saw that, I'm like, yeah, if you miss even one little thing, if Iron Man hadn't showed up, you probably would have just drowned a whole boat of people.
You got to remember the FBI was there too, and the only reason the FBI was there was because Tony
put him on
gave him a tip, and he was there.
Right.
He was actually there prior when Spider-Man was. He fought Vulture for the first time. He was drowning, and Iron Man saved him, but it was just his suit.
Right.
This time, when Spider-Man's just like, I had it, and then he's just like, no, you didn't. I had to step in and save everything. Everybody on that boat would have been dead if it wasn't for me. And then he's like, you know what? If you would really care about me, if you really cared that I could try, you would be here. And he steps out of the suit. And it was like, oh!
What? I mean, let's be fair. Let's be fair. When Spider-Man said that, you expected it to happen, but it still was awesome when you saw it happen. Uh-huh. And when he saw that, I was like, "Oh shit!" I was sitting in the movie theater. I was like, "Oh my god, this is a movie. It's not happening to me, and I'm about to shit my pants anyway."
It's that moment when you're really little and you do something really bad.
Yeah.
But you're saying, you shouldn't have said, you should have told me not to do it. And then your dad's just like, I didn't think I needed to tell you.
Right.
Something like that. And you're like, oh fuck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, so he's got his old suit that he's walking in there and he's like disoriented. The guy, Vulture told him, "I will kill you if you try and stop me," and he knows that he has to. And he goes to Liz and he's just like, "I have to go. I'm sorry."
And she never's any the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think pisses me off about this girl. Peter does so much to screw her over. I mean, granted, Ned found out because he saw Peter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Do you
like...
lay eggs?
But he screws this girl over so much. I mean, granted, for his Spider-Man abilities, but his whole thing is he just ditches her. Just I have to go.
I have to go kill your dad.
And she never figures it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, you're telling me that you're on like the academic or debate team or whatever, and she's
one of the smartest people in that school, and she can't.
Can't figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the other girl, though.
Well, let's finish up the whole story.
Okay, the story. So,
and he steals Flash's car.
Okay,
he puts on his old suit, which, by the way,
yeah,
I actually have one. I made one before I even knew that was going to be a thing.
Right? Yeah, your suit actually looks very similar to the one in
close.
The movie.
It's not quite there, but
I said it's similar.
Yeah. And he takes his car and he's like, "I need to borrow your car." Like he does a Batman.
Oh, Batman! Yeah.
And Flash is like, "It's my dad's car." I don't care. He takes his car. Doesn't know how to drive.
Oh, because he's like what? He's like.
Well, still, he's a smart kid. He should.
He's like a freshman,
but
right?
He takes the car. Yeah, I think I want to say he's a sophomore at least. But he takes this car. He's driving there. He gets to Vulture, and he's about ready to kick Vulture's ass when Vulture's wings come in, and he cuts a hole in the ceiling basically
by dropping
and drops oh
my god,
drops all that concrete on him, and it emulated a scene in the comic book where he got out of it.
Yeah,
but the whole time Peter's he's struggling, and this moment got me too. He's just like it's just a kid crying for help. He's screaming for help.
I felt so bad. I wanted to help him.
He was just screaming for help, and then he just looks down into a puddle, and like half of his mask is showing. Like does that half and half, like the spider mask, and then he's just like. Then Tony comes into his head. If you can't do anything without the suit, then you don't deserve to have it.
And that just makes him just
pushes all that on there, and I'm like, I wanted to see this throughout the whole show.
Right.
And
once again, bringing it back to if he can do that, why can't he break through a single bulletproof glass window?
Yeah. So, Vulture's plan is to get the last big score, and it turns out that he's going to be that Avengers Tower was sold, and they're cleaning it out. It has all of his arc reactors. It has all of his some of his suits. It has stuff from Asgard. It has all this crap, and his goal is to steal that entire plane.
Right. Let's just talk real quick about that. About that though. So Peter, I don't remember exactly how. I think he actually just manages to get to the plane in time.
Yeah.
And that the fight scene on
the
plane, it is one of the coolest things I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole real world thing, because when they're on the outside of the plane, Peter's actually struggling to hold on. That's realistic.
Yeah, because this thing's going like at least 200 miles.
It's a plane
through the fucking air.
There's nowhere to web to if
he tried. He did.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Plus, he was struggling to grip onto it too.
Right, but the fight scene on the plane, it's just amazing to see the Vulture and Spider-Man fighting in a confined area where they both know if they lose, that means death one way or another.
Mm-hmm. And then I love how Vulture's just like, fucking, I gotta kill him. He basically modified his suit to seal the hole he made.
Right.
And then he just jumped out and all the air comes in and the plane's gonna crash. And Happy sees this. Peter tried to warn Happy, by the way. Didn't fucking believe him because he's called Happy so much.
Well, Peter told Ned to tell Happy.
Yeah, and he wouldn't fucking believe him. Then he sees the plane crash, and then Peter, so it didn't hit any building, he webs one of the wings. He pulls that wing.
Oh yeah,
to turn it, and it crashes onto the beach.
Yeah, which I think is cool because it was gonna crash into was it gonna crash into the school where they were having the dance or something?
No, it was gonna crash, and it looked like some apartment complexes.
Right.
But it crashes into the beach, and Vulture's kicking his ass, of course, and
yeah, absolutely annihilating him.
Well, he gets some good hits on him. Like they're both evenly matched.
I feel like they're both evenly matched, but at the end of the day, Peter is just too worn out from the Vulture, like being one step ahead of him having to hold onto the plane, having to quick thinking whenever he got sucked out of the hole in the plane. Trying to again turn this whole plane. He's probably he's had to use energy that for a teenager he's used a lot of his energy that this adult has not only been trying to use but has more of probably. So
well, plus it's Peter's using his superpowers, whereas Vulture's got a mechanical suit.
Right.
So Vulture's just basically just kind of like, fuck it, I have to get something. He takes all of his arc reactors, or he tries to, and there's a point in this movie where the alien technology is actually a bomb.
Right.
So I think it's an EMP bomb.
Yeah.
This thing on his back is going to explode, and he's trying to warn him.
Yeah, Peter's like, get your suit off, it's going to explode, and he doesn't listen to him.
And it blows up. And he ends up saving Liz's dad. And he webs him up, and now Toombs is in jail, and Liz leaves. Which I felt was like... I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I did like Liz.
I did like Liz. It sort of felt like a rushed thing to get her out of the picture, so we get to a girlfriend that we actually know, instead of introducing a new girlfriend, which I think would have been awesome. It's like we've seen Gwen Stacy be done, we've seen Mary Jane be done. Let's see someone new.
I wanted to see Black Cat.
That would have been cool.
So Peter's like, Liz is leaving. Oh, wah. They have their moment, and now Michelle, who is Zendaya, is head of the debate team. This is where I want to talk about the changes they made. It's okay. This is where I wanted to talk about the changes they made. Michelle, when they're just like, she says, "My friends call me MJ," and at that point, I'm like, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
I didn't. I thought she was just going to end up being someone else who found out Peter's secret.
The only reason that I knew it is because the day they announced her as part of the cast, she had red hair, was all prettied up, and I'm just like, she's going to be Mary Jane, isn't she? She's going to be Mary Jane.
But she's not Mary Jane.
She's technically not Mary Jane. Okay. I don't I don't care if they changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
As her character, to me, seems like a younger Mary Jane. Yeah,
a younger Mary Jane. Really, she seems like... Oh, okay. She is like... She's like an eco warrior, sorta, or something, isn't she?
So. I think she's anti-establishment or something.
She's anti-disestablishmentarianism.
I swear to God, though, if they get those two together, and by the way, Tom Holland and Zendaya, from what I hear, are actually together.
Yeah.
So if they have the same chemistry they do in the sequel, if they get together in the sequel, I want her to say, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." She has to say that. She has to say that. I don't mind Zendaya much as MJ, to be honest.
Yeah, she's much more, and of course this was not the actress, this was the character. That I'm going to talk about. She's much more
zero fuckiest.
What's the word?
She gives zero fucks.
Yeah, feisty. Feisty is a good word.
Mm-hmm.
She's much more feisty in this than the previous Mary Jane we've had in Spider-Man movies.
I like the scene at Homecoming where he sees his friends and she waves at him and then flips them off.
It's the best.
That's the best scene. Okay, problems. Problem character for me is Flash. It's mostly because of the way
they portrayed him.
I like the actor.
The actor I felt like did good with what he had to work with.
Penis Parker. I hate to tell you, but if you're a bully in high school, you can come up with a lot more creative names than just Penis Parker.
Yeah.
The problem I have with this Flash, he is not who I grew up with.
He's not Flash.
Now, I want to say this. I am all for change. Like, I didn't mind Johnny Storm being black in Fan Four Stick. Fan Four Stick is a horrible movie, but I didn't mind the casting.
Right.
This one is... He's academically... He's smart. He's just a step below Peter, whereas in all the other iterations that I've seen him in, he's
a jock. He's a bully.
He's not a dumb jock. He's a semi-intelligent person.
He's just a jock.
He's an asshole.
In this one,
he's more of a grade school bully, if you ask me, instead of a high school bully.
Yeah, he picks on Peter because Peter's doing better than him, and that's a very grade school thing to do.
Well,
granted,
in high school they did that too, but
we lived in a very small town.
Yeah, most of our town was inbred hicks, but that's besides the point.
To any of you watching, we're not sorry.
And to those of you who are friends who grew up in that town.
Yeah.
No, point being, he seemed very elementary school to me instead of high school.
Yeah, I didn't like the change.
I wanted to see more of him doing sports rather than academic.
Yeah, because ever since Flash was created, now granted, I don't know when Flash was created, but every iteration I've seen of Flash, he's the jock, bully, typical asshole who's gonna pick on the smart kids because he's bigger and stronger than them.
Which is funny because I think he's actually smaller than Tom Holland.
Yeah,
and Tom Holland, to my knowledge, is a pretty short guy, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't actually seen him in person. But compared to him standing next to everybody else, I know he's younger, but he's pretty short. It's
just like, this was not the Flash that I knew. It was not what I was expecting. And now, unfortunately, despite this being a really good movie, and this is one thing that just like pulled me back, and I was like, wait, we had a good thing here. You gave me something that I really did not want to see.
Mm-hmm. Other bad things, I think.
I don't think they used May enough.
No. I did like the very end, though.
The very end? I mean, who doesn't like the very end?
The very end, she sees him in the Spider-Man suit, and she's like, what the fuck?
And they cut her off before she could finish
another
saying,
thing I didn't like. Another thing I didn't like. They didn't say anything about Uncle Ben.
Yeah! What the hell is that? Okay, I know that this is supposed to be 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
But
he obviously got his powers before Uncle Ben died, and we don't see Uncle Ben at all.
But they don't even mention Uncle Ben.
They don't mention Uncle Ben, and the only hint that we get at that is she's been through a lot. Okay, what else happened? Has she had to take up 3 jobs to take care of you? Has Uncle Ben died? Did he leave? What happened?
Did he... Well, not only that, it's like you obviously are able to still go to school and have friends and do all this stuff, and she doesn't really worry about you. Have you always been a kid who sneaks out? Was that a thing that started when you became Spider-Man? Did Uncle Ben leave a whole bunch of money for you guys to like live off of what happened with Uncle Ben. I want to know some backstory. And that's one thing. Yes, we've seen the backstory for Spider-Man 100 times. But you know why we've seen the backstory for Spider-Man 100 times? Because we need to know what the fuck is going on in this iteration of Spider-Man.
Now, granted, okay, I get it, I get the mentality. We know Uncle Ben died. We know the backstory of Spider-Man. Like, in Batman v Superman, I will give them this. They showed off why Bruce became Batman. Right away. We've seen it a lot of times.
Yeah.
We've seen it too many times to count. We've seen it in TV shows, movies, video games, blah, blah, blah. We all know. But it took like a minute and a half to 2 minutes to tell the story.
Yeah.
Why don't we just see a minute to 2 minutes of flashbacks where he goes, she's been through a lot, and then cuts to the funeral for Uncle Ben. Or we see Peter crying over Uncle Ben. That's what I want to see in the sequel. And I know there's a sequel coming. They've announced it.
Right.
I want to see him. I want to see them take at least 2 to 5 minutes showing Peter being a dick to Uncle Ben and Aunt May, going out, doing his thing, trying to earn the money, and then seeing Uncle Ben die.
Right.
By the way, if they get Tobey Maguire like Tom Holland wants to be Uncle Ben, that'd be great.
Now here's the thing I don't like, or that I'm kind of upset about. We say that we want to see that because we know that we want to see that. A lot of people have said, but almost every other person I've talked to has said, we're glad we've seen Spider-Man's backstory. It's like, yes, we've seen it, but
they need to establish it.
Yeah, we don't need to see his parents leaving and all this stuff like we saw in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. All we need to do is we need to establish Uncle Ben died. We need to establish what Peter was like before that. We need to establish if how Aunt May was, and if she became like this sort of hardened woman after Uncle Ben died, or if she was always like that.
I think she tries to stay optimistic, kind of like Aunt May in the comics says.
Okay.
For a lot of times, because Aunt May in a lot of the movies has always been like, "Oh, Peter, she's always there for him."
She keeps getting younger.
Because each Spider-Man gets younger.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I will complain about is they play. I get it. Aunt May's actress is hot. But you don't need to establish that throughout this whole movie. That's her character trope. She's hot.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, when the guy gives her the rice pudding or whatever, the dessert.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, that's nice. He didn't have to do that. Why did he do that? Because you're fucking hot.
Right.
Okay? And then the other dude, the one who speaks, I want to say it's Spanish of some kind.
Something like that.
Something. Some kind of language, like he's just telling him that, oh, this is the kid whose aunt's hot, and then Peter responds to him in the same language, saying like, yeah, your daughter's pretty hot too.
Yeah.
And all that crap. I want to see more from Aunt May. It all comes back to that one point where it's like, she's been through a lot. Okay. Tell us.
Yeah.
Show us. If you don't want to show us, at least say Uncle Ben died.
What? Like, was it just Uncle Ben dying, or was there more? I want to know if, I actually want to see an Aunt May that was sort of like, sort of like more of a loose person, sort of like just went with the flow, and because she sort of just went with the flow, all this shit happened to her, and then Uncle Ben died, and she became sort of like this hardened person after she saw someone die.
I don't think she became more hardened. I think she should be a little bit more protective of Peter.
Okay, that's a better way to put it. Not hardened, protective of Peter.
Because without Peter, I think she said this in the movie, if you were to disappear, I have nothing else.
Yeah.
I think she said that.
It makes sense even if she didn't.
Mm-hmm. And it all comes down to that, I feel. Another thing, like you said, he fell on his face too many times.
Yes. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that I did not like that he fell on his face.
No, door.
Yeah, it's really hot in here. I'm not saying that I did not like that he fell on his face. The fact that he fell on his face was fine. It's just that when you do it 5 or 6 times, it gets old.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I really liked, or one thing that I really don't fucking like about the Spider-Man movies. Keep your fucking mask on.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so Spider-Man 1, I get it. Or like the Spider-Man trilogy beforehand, I get it. People are going to find out eventually. Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, he took his mask off within the first few minutes of being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This one, I would have been okay if with Ned just knowing, with Tony just knowing, and that'd be it. I would have been totally fine with Michael Keaton, the way Michael Keaton found out. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But Jesus fuck.
How many people know?
You not fucking close your door so Aunt May doesn't know?
It's not just Aunt May. Think about when he's trapped in... When he's trapped under
the concrete,
what is
takes his mask off.
Yeah, it's like you are in a building where people go in and out of multiple times. You have your mask off for what reason? These people find out they're gonna use your ass.
Uh-huh. Like, can you just keep your mask on, please? I get it, in this universe, everybody knows who everybody is.
Except they don't!
Well, they actually... Tony, I am Iron Man. Alright. I'm Captain America, Steve Rogers, everybody fucking knows that.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner's Hulk, everybody's out for his ass.
Thor is, well, Thor.
Thor. Black Widow. I don't think a lot of people know who Black Widow is.
Not a lot of people know who
Hawkeye
is either.
But they're secret agents, that makes sense.
Right.
But
like, fucking, like, what was it? I had a thing to say. Bucky, Winter Soldier. People obviously find out about that because he's hiding and running
doing
around
all these terrorist things.
Yeah, it's like people know, at least know of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Peter is the one person who's always been like,
I can't tell people.
Right. That's why in the Civil War comics, when he actually did reveal himself, it was such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, could we, keep his mask on, please?
I guess another thing that we should probably talk about are the end credit scenes.
Both of them?
Was one of them with Michael Keaton in the jail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other one was with Captain America.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about Michael Keaton first.
Okay, so there's Michael Keaton's in jail. He's walking through, and then you see a dude who obviously is going to be Scorpion.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
I, for some reason, didn't make the connection.
He's got the Scorpion tattoo.
Yeah, I know, but for some reason, I just didn't make the connection. I was like... But now that you say it, it's like now I'm seeing it.
And
it's
then
like,
he had like pads and pins in his hand, so I'm thinking he's going to have a giant claw, at least. But yeah, he comes up and was like, so I hear you know who the Spider-Man is. Michael Keaton's just like, if I knew, he'd already be dead. So obviously he cares.
I think it's more that he cares for his daughter,
mm-hmm.
and if they found out that, and if anyone ever found out that Spider-Man had relations with his daughter,
mm-hmm.
they'd go after her. I think so. Yes, it is a protection thing, but I think it is partially for Peter.
I think it's setting
partially, but I think it's mostly for his daughter.
I think it's mostly setting up the Sinister Six movie.
I want that to happen.
I know. We have a Venom movie, which is apparently not a part of the MCU, but I think it's going to be. You can't really have Venom without Spider-Man, unless they do Agent Venom. Then they could change it a bit, but still.
So okay, so he's in jail, and he cares, and you got the guy who's walking around who's going to be Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm interested to see is, and I hope they don't skip over this because I'd be really pissed if they did. If they put Scorpion into a Spider-Man movie, or like even in a Sinister Six, we need to see how he gets out of jail.
Yeah.
We need to not have him just out of jail. Since we've seen him in jail, show us how he gets out.
Yeah.
Don't skip over this important bullshit.
Okay, second one was... Okay, throughout the
film... It was
film,
meant to be funny.
Throughout the film, there's a bunch of Captain America videos for high school. They have Captain America saying about, like, what, sexual education?
Sexual education, something about detention, and about how your body's changing or something.
Stuff like that. And then at the very end, they have him come back, and he's like, "Hi, don't you just hate it when someone builds up something so important, builds up something to the point where you get so excited for it just to be disappointed at the end? I know that feeling. Goodbye." It was just... That's basically the...
That's the very...
That's basically the trimmed version, but I stood up and I said, "That was worth it," and I laughed.
Oh, it was perfect. Because I saw it happen, and I was like, "Oh, we're getting something about the next Avengers movie." I got really excited, and then he started talking, and I was like, "This is better."
Yeah. So Spider-Man Homecoming, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's up there with Spider-Man 2. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either.
No.
It's far from the worst, I should say.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then D23 was actually this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed off Thanos and the Black Order, basically his kids. I'm excited for that one. They also at that they showed the teaser for Infinity War. And then they basically in Infinity War he's going to have that Iron Spider suit that was shown.
Yes, yes. I forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, Tony finally, like, after he saves all that shit, or all he could, and
Tony's like, Tony's like, I'm giving you an into Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Builds him his Iron Spider suit, which in this one looks more like the Superior Spider suit. It looks like a certain spider suit. I can't think of which one it is. But it basically is his Iron Spider suit, and he's just like, "Oh my god, I can't, this is exciting." And then Peter's just like, "This is a test, isn't it?" And he declines. He still has his spider suit, which I like. Also, I want to talk about that a little bit. I like the webs.
Oh yeah,
the web wings.
Yep.
I forgot to mention that one. And he declines it, and Tony's just like, "Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah, this is a test, yeah."
Yep.
He was actually going to give him the suit, and he declined. And then Gwyneth Paltrow showed up. I was like...
Pepper, for those of you who don't know that.
I thought she was done with those movies. I seriously was just like, "Oh my god, Pepper's back. Oh, and they're adorable."
Yeah. And then...
What happened then?
Happy ring.
Oh yeah! He was holding on to that ring through the whole... fucking series. Like, it was what, Avengers 1?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
He's like, "I've been holding this since 2008.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, they're gonna get engaged. Oh no. But yeah.
Well, we should clarify that it wasn't just like he was proposing to Pepper. No. He was going to introduce Spider-Man to
the world.
To the world as part of the Avengers to a press team, and then Spider-Man's like, "This was a test." It walks away, and
there was an actual group of people.
There was actually a group of people after Tony's like, "Yeah, it was a test," and so
they needed a big announcement, and that was going to be the big announcement.
Yeah.
So it's basically they're getting engaged off of a fucking fluke, I guess. But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, really liked it. Can't wait for Spider-Man 2, Infinity War. I definitely am. Next movie is Thor Ragnarok. I'm so excited for that one.
He's a friend from work!
And then Black Panther. Wow.
I forgot he's getting his own movie.
I can't wait for Black Panther. That's the one that leads up to Infinity War.
Right. I really wish we could get another Spider-Man movie before Infinity War. Because, if you guys know, in Infinity War... Thanos, in the comics, one of the things to impress death that Thanos does, he snaps his fingers and, kills half of the universe?
Yeah, pretty much.
If he did that and he killed some important characters to Spider-Man, I want to get to know these characters a little bit more.
I honestly think the people who are going to die are Captain America for sure, because he said he's done. with the movies.
Well, done in front of the camera. He said that he wants to work behind the scenes a little more.
Well, yeah, but he's done in the movies.
Right.
He's not going to be Captain America anymore. I don't know who all they would kill. I know they're probably going to... I think they're setting up Peter to be the next Tony Stark.
You think Tony's going to die?
I don't think Tony's going to die.
Maybe he'll sort of quit, though, after...
Maybe. I think Thor might die.
See, I would think that he's going to die in Ragnarok, but why would they do that?
They're doing a Planet Hulk storyline, basically, with that one.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to kill off Hulk. I hope not.
We haven't
But we're not getting a solo Hulk film. That's what Ruffalo said.
We haven't... Well, but see, we haven't seen enough with Hulk.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see more with him.
Yeah.
But we're kind of getting off topic, so that's
Movie?
it? I think that's it.
I think that's it. I thought it was good. Talking about it, my opinion is still pretty much the same. I brought up a lot of my grievances with it. It's just like it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was really good. It's just there was enough that I found wrong with it for me to not say that it was a great film.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like I let it mellow a bit. I actually saw this like a couple days after it came out. You saw it like the day of.
Yeah.
I let it mellow for a little bit. I was so happy with this movie, and I let it mellow a bit. Some of my grievances did come up a little bit after that. I thought about it. But I will say it's one of the best Spider-Man films we've gotten.
I think, yeah. I will say that out of Spider-Man movies we got, it's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably number 1 or 2.
Yeah. So that's it for this podcast.
We'll do more of these, hopefully, in the future.
Hopefully, if you guys like this stuff, we'll do more in the future.
Even if you don't like it, we're going to do it anyway, so get over it.
I'm going to hopefully try and get some more people onto this, do some more discussions on like gameplay, and we'll probably just stick to like talking about one thing at a time.
Yeah, we talked about E3 in our last one, so,
Check that out.
He'll put a link either on the screen or in the description. Mm-hmm. Go check out our E3 with Titan.
Yep. We'll try and get him on. He wasn't here today because I didn't talk to him.
But, yeah, we're... I think that's it.
I think that's it. So this has been another rendition of Ace and Friends podcast. I'm probably going to change the name eventually.
I mean... I don't think I'll be on everyone, but I'll probably be on a majority of them. So I'll be like Bernie in the RT podcast. He's on most of the time, but not all the time. Okay, you freaking Rooster Teeth lover, you. I like the Rooster Teeth stuff. Okay, so this will be it. If you like this video, then be sure to like this video. And if you want to check out the last discussion video we did, it'll be up on the screen. If you want to check out some of my reviews, I'll link one in the description as well as the screen. If you want to subscribe for more, then I'll just do that. Do that! I fucked it up! I had a thought process in mind, and I fucked it up. So, with all that being said, thank you guys once. Bye-bye! Fuck you. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. I'm Spider-Man!